Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Mayorga, and I'm back because I would like to continue from the little series that I'm doing about conflict. I believe that in my last video, where I did a general information about conflict, I indicated that I would come back and do probably two more videos, this one and another one, in which I will discuss the conflict resolution styles or the kind of styles that people tend to use. There's five that we generally think about that research out there indicates are the five styles that people will use to resolve conflict. And it doesn't mean that you just tend to do just one. We can move back and forth, but we do have dominant conflict resolution styles where we tend to fall back to that one when we have a conflict. So, since there are five and I have limited time, my videos are normally within 15 minutes long. It may become a series so that I can give justice to each conflict style. So anyway, um, when I did my last video, we talked about general conflict and the importance of developing a way to resolve conflict appropriately so that you can have more peace and understanding in relationships, and also to look at conflict as an opportunity for growth and that it can be used for change and for problem solving and making things just be better if we look at conflict from that perspective rather than it's just going to be a big fight and I don't want to deal with it. And the same fight happens over and over again because whatever is the issue is never really resolved to a degree that both people are satisfied with the resolution. So, with that said, the very first one that I'm going to be speaking to is about the competing style. In other words, the way that people resolve their conflict is in a competing manner. And what does that mean? Well, just the word itself tells you what it means. Competition. I'm going to win and you're going to lose. And in having done a lot of work with couples in my counseling practice, I find that couples come in, and I'm just using this as an example, and with that whole idea that if I'm losing, then next time I need to win. Think of it as a scale, right? And in relationships, mostly, if you think of a scale, it either goes this way or that way. You know, keeping it balanced is difficult. You either have to have nothing on it or you have to have the same amount of things on it to make it be balanced. But in relationships, generally the whole idea is I win, you lose, and then next time the person that lost is going to say, I want to win and you're going to lose. And so that kind of competitive way of looking at things, or what I would say conflict resolution style, if it's a competitive style, then after a while, and maybe very quickly, it begins to erode the relationship. Because what is occurring is, like I said, somebody has to win and someone has to lose. And then when another conflict arises, well, that person that has lost is now going to want to be the one that gets the most out of it or has or wins. That's why we call it the competing style. You have a conflict resolution style where everything's a competition. I'm going to get my way. You're not going to get your way. And the next time the person says, well, no, I'm going to get my way and you're not going to get your way. And it can be as simple as where are we going to go to eat? Or what movie are we going to see? Or what party are we going to go to? Or where are we going to celebrate the holidays? You see this again in families when it comes to holidays or birthdays or celebrations or fill in the blank. Uh, there'll be somebody that will, that, competition, or I'm sorry, not a competition, but an issue will arise, and there'll be one person that will want it to be this way, and the other person will say, no, I want it to be this way, and whoever pushes the harder will end up being the winner. And that's really how they think about it. Well, you won last time and I didn't. So this time I'm going to win and you're not going to win. And even though you may not be verbally saying that message, that is what comes across in the behavior and the attitude. And you can think about it when you're working with your children. Okay. Children are like that too. They really want to win over mom or dad. And so it becomes a competition, and can create more conflict. Okay, so that's one of the styles. The other style is avoidance. And I think I talked a little bit about this at my last video. Normally, we avoid conflict because we're fearful of what the results will indicate or what the results will be. I want to avoid a conflict with my significant other because we might break up and I don't know how to deal with that. Or a parent and a child, and it can be a teenager, it can be an adolescent, it can be an adult child. One of the things that I see quite often is parents and adult children having conflict and avoiding dealing with it because they're concerned about what the outcome might be. Maybe the parent is threatening the child, the adult child, if they don't do X, Y, and Z, then they won't get an inheritance, or they won't get this, or there'll be some kind of where you, oh gosh, what's the word? I'm having a senior moment right now, where you're being dismissed or you're being ostracized from the family or from whatever is going on. But the thing with avoidance is that nothing gets resolved. It's like that pink elephant in the middle of the room. You come together, but you know that there's something there. There's this tension. I had a situation not too long ago where I had a person that I know say to me, "My goodness gracious, I was at this house and I could feel the tension. It was so thick between a parent and an adult daughter." And the person that was sharing this with me was saying that it was so uncomfortable, she just wanted to get up and walk away. So that's an example of avoiding that there's conflict or there's a problem. And so you have this pink elephant in the middle of the room that nobody wants to identify or acknowledge that it's sitting in the middle of the room. Another reason for avoidance is that some people have never learned to feel comfortable with disagreements, or when there's a difference of opinion, or there's differences of opinion can create a conflict. And so instead of being direct and saying, I think we have a problem here, they'll just pretend that it's not there. And one of the biggest issues, I think, is pretending that there isn't a problem when there is a problem. So again, even though you may be trying to ignore that there is an issue, everybody around you can see that something's going on. You can choose to continue to avoid dealing with it, but in the long run, it will domino into the atmosphere or into the environment. Again, like I said in my last video, you can't sweep things under the rug and pretend that there isn't a bump on the rug. Um, another conflict resolution style is collaboration. And I think last time in my other video, I talked about, I was going to talk about the conflict resolution styles that are a win-lose, which is the first one, competing. And the one that's the win-win is the collaboration. Because when we collaborate, it's coming together and we separate the emotion from the issue. In other words, let's say I'm having a conflict with someone, and it's about where we maybe there's a move coming, and we'd like to move somewhere that would be enjoyable for both of us, and or for the family. And one person wants to go in this direction, another person wants to go in that direction, but they don't sit down and talk about which would be the best for everyone. Let's collaborate, let's look at the pros and the cons, and let's find a place that we both agree on, that we everybody gets as much as possible from the move, rather than going in this direction or that direction. You see a lot of collaboration in work environments, and you have teams, and if you have a good leader in the team, they'll engage in a collaborative uh, behavior. They'll collaborate with um, all the team members to try to deal with this, whatever the issue is, in the best possible manner. I'm a faculty member at a university, and that is the type of style that we as faculty utilize when we have an issue that has arisen, maybe in the curriculum or the way the program is going, or when we have to do something, even when we're hiring someone, we're going to collaborate together, and we're going to determine which is the best direction for the faculty as a group. So collaboration works well in families, because what's the best direction for the family? And everybody has a voice. Everybody is listened to. Everybody has an ability to give an input. Everybody makes is part of the decision making process, and it creates a win-win situation, which creates a much more healthier environment. Everybody believes that they won, that they got something out of the whole collaboration. They didn't walk away empty handed. They were able to receive whatever their needs were, or whatever it is that they wanted. And so everybody is much more happier with the situation. But collaboration is a learned process. It goes back to active listening, and being able to communicate, because my dissertation was on communication. And and this is my own philosophy. I would say that 98% of issues in families and relationships comes from the simple fact that people do not know how to communicate. There's a difference between talking and communicating. And most people, when you're talking about um, communication, they'll say, "Well, I can," but it's a learned skill to be able to communicate appropriately. There are skills to doing that. I can learn how to talk, and I can say a lot of stuff, but is it coming out appropriately? Is it going to get the message out correctly? Is the other person going to be able to understand what I'm wanting to say to them? If I'm communicating, then chances are there's going to be a higher percentage that my message is going to get through, and that they're going to be able to see that perception, perspective, all of that. And so, in collaboration, that's a big one right there. Do you have the communication skills that you need to be able to make this collaborative effort work? Okay. So, with that said, that's where I'm going to end. And tomorrow, in my next video, I will finish up discussing accommodation and compromising. And then I'll finish it up with just some general information about what strategies you can utilize when you are engaged in working out conflict. Thank you.